welcome back to And All the Things. This is Michaela, and I am your host. As a life coach and facilitator, I work with individuals and groups to empower their best selves to shine to the betterment of all involved. My goal is always to bring you closer to trusting the voice inside that is authentically yours. My job here is no different. In my journey through life, I continue to meet people who use their authenticity, their unique gifts, to grow, to change, and to serve through professional and personal endeavors. These people and their stories become my gift to you, for I cannot keep a good thing to myself, and I believe they may inspire a part of your story to evolve as they have done for mine. Today we are talking with AnnaJo and all the things. Anna is the founder of AnnaJo Coaching, and she brings a vast experience that continues through 17 years in the corporate world and spans multiple countries around the globe. As a coach of high-performing teams, as well as a life coach, a mother, a wife, a writer, a curious individual, and so much more, she shares with us her passion for coaching people toward discovery. Anna offers insights on effective leadership, clears up the myth about work-life balance, talks through the experience of pushing publish, and bestows tips to navigate it all. Her takeaway for you is you can be you. Let's find out more about AnnaJo and all the things. Hello, Anna. Welcome to And All the Things. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you so much.
You are very welcome. Well, this is a space that is all about sharing conversations about passion and life and how to live it a little bit better, right? So it's tips and tricks. And folks, I found a great one for you today. I was very fortunate to attend an event through the organization Believe, Inspire, Grow, of which Anna is a member, and I hope we'll talk about that in a little bit. But we were hosted by Fiserv in partnership with Clover. So it was a really exciting day. And I show up and I got paired at a table next to AnnaJo Coaching. And my heart got excited. And I was like, yes, another coach. Because I love to talk with people who share the belief that you can achieve better for yourself. You can grow more. You can aspire to more. And for me, it's all about finding joy at the end of the day. So I have AnnaJo of AnnaJo Coaching. She is a life coach. She is a businesswoman. She is a mom and a wife and an absolute delight. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Anna. Tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was very fun to meet you, right? So it was like,
absolutely.
Okay, I have this special lady here next to me. And it just bond on that day, right? In that event. It was very, very good.
Yes. It was indeed.
Yes, it was. So I am AnnaJo. So I'm a corporate for 17 years. I am Portuguese originally. So I've been doing an international career within my corporate and within my organization. I moved to US for the last 6 years. True, I am a mom of two, a teenager and a toddler. So like two different ages.
Got you busy.
Yeah, exactly. And arriving to the US, I just kind of have this passion of coaching. It was a discovery. So being in a big organization, and developing my career, the passion for leadership was there and started in Europe. I lived in different countries in Europe, and it started from there. And big organizations have leadership in the trainings, and I was already managing a team. Even like in the corporate, I started to coach and mentor, so it was something very big. But arriving here, and oh my God, life coaching is the thing. I can be a coach. I can do this by myself. And it was really something very special that's grew on me, and it is coming from, yes.
That's great. And you had said something in a conversation with me some time ago about how you fell in love with the desire for like team impact and cohesion. How did that come to be? Like, what part of it inspired you so much to turn it into a place to change other people's lives through a career?
True. So I think, that was something that, is still in my corporate early days, not early days, like half of the way, right? So 17 years in a corporate is already a long time. I would say half of the way. It was something that, what is a leader, right? So when the leader is the one who leads the vision, right? So when the leader is the one who others follow you. So you really have to have this courage to, being a role model and actually have this power just to get the people together, right? And through that, it came this passion. I want to be the leader. And the second thing the leader has is to live every day, even when others are not seeing you, the values and the things that you believe in. Do you know what I mean? It's just not like I'm showing up as a leader. No, you are a leader every day. And those two things make me believe the impact of really like, oh my God, this is a different way to live. And then I could see the impact we could have within the teams, right? And in a big organization, think about like in terms of skills that you have, in terms of the roles that you have, the experience that you get, is always about like the cohesion of a team and the high performing on the team. If you have those two things about like the values very, like deep on you and you live every day what you believe, I think, just naturally, it's like this energy and this shared vision you have with the team, it comes together, right? So I think that is very interesting.
Yeah, because we think so much that the team, the coach just shows up and does the thing, right? The leader just shows up and does the thing. But it has to come from somewhere really significant to drive forward that much momentum, right? So how have you found to help leaders, people who want to become leaders, harness what's really important to them so that they can really live authentically in that leadership role? Because I think that's the disconnect, right?
Yes.
Like I have to perform this role, but I don't even know that I'm worthy or what is worthy, but I'm going to push forward and do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then we lose sustainability and efficacy. So, or effectiveness, excuse me. So how do you help people? How do you help leaders grow into that within themselves?
Okay, so actually, like it's one of the things I do within the corporate is because I am a coach as well for high performing teams there. And one of the things we start to do is actually we call know yourself, right? So it's about like you need to know yourself, what you stand for, what you, what is we do this exercise, the values exercise, and for you to know who you are, right? So and we start with the values, the things you believe, the things that is your foundation, but then it comes with the manual of instructions. All right. So what does that mean? It means like, what is your communication style? What the way that you actually interact with others that is at your best. So you can show up as you are and you feel that you make part of that team, right? You don't need okay, I need to fit in. It's about I belong here and I am understood by who I am.
Right.
So, but because of the manual of instruction, just like, washing machine, right? So you know how to do it, right? So like showing up to the team is good for you to share and communicate. Look, I'm a morning person. I'm a mom. I need to leave at 4 just to pick up my children from daycare, something. So like the ground rules that you just put together. So you can be respected and and accept who you are first and then accept the team. Enough. So this is something that you do, like share your values. So really make sure that you do this exercise of self-awareness, about the values, really about this. Such a fun exercise to do in a team because it's always kind of the basics are there, right? So I just like family, team, but then when it goes to deeper to the values, do you live your values? Are those really important? And it really comes through like what really I'm here for, right? So what really is that who I am? And I need to live that in every moment of my life, being in this team, being with my family, being with myself. And then it comes like with the manual of instructions, how I function the best, belong to this team. And and if the team does that, it's a kind of like, I have your back at the end, right? So I know you. and the good intentions and have these after we do the shared vision, right? So then comes the operational part, what the goals of the team, why this team is there for, and then what is the role, the governance in terms of the team to just achieve the same goal, right? So all that comes after, and this comes with the other set of instruction. At first is about like how we do this, the part of who am I and how am I here to belong to this.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important because it's about what is my role here and how do I communicate? How do I live that out? And it can be something as simple, we work a lot with people, you and I, in the coaching capacity to work on health and wellness goals and family goals and relationships. But we have to make space and time for that. And if we don't hold that as sacred, nobody else will, right? So even if it's, I was working with someone a couple of weeks ago on finding time and being able to eat and utilize the lunch break, right?
Oh, yes.
Precious time. And they said something to me, well, there's this kind of unwritten rule about how we're supposed to still answer IMs during lunch. And I said, pause, right?
Yes.
Anytime you say there's an unwritten rule, I'm going to challenge that because my job is to say, I hear you with that understanding, but is there another way to understand it? Because if that's the thing getting in the way of you and your goals, let's see what we can shift and alter. So I find those assumptions that we make when we're not communicating, when the vision is not clear, and when we don't have the space to say, this is important to me, I need to leave at 4:00 for my kids, whatever, I'm going to go. Is there anything I need to know to resolve before, or this is how you can contact me after? But if we don't make it important, nobody else will. So whether that's in your personal life and how you manage your schedule, right? Whether it's lunchtime or 4:00, or in your leadership role, how we communicate what's important is everything, right? And we can call it boundaries, we can call it guidelines or benchmarks or whatever it is. But if it's not clear and we all don't know how to get there, we'll never get there. So I think it's incredible work to do. And I appreciate very much that our corporate system today is finding the value in this and inviting these conversations. With your 17 years in corporate, some of which was in Portugal, right? And some of the last 6 years here. I'm curious, is there a difference in what you saw in corporate and how they relate to this, or how the corporate structure impacted life and how you manage time, or was it pretty much the same?
Okay, so I'm talking about the same company, right? So in the foundation, you should be the same. So I've been working with the same company for 17 years in different countries.
Nice.
That's funny you say that. The culture is different, each country. So, and I started in Portugal, which has the culture. I grew up, so I knew about the lunchtime in Portugal is 1 hour. And you really live to have lunch. I don't even think there was a way to skip lunchtime. I moved to Spain, and in Spain, lunchtime was actually also lunchtime, all right? But it's late. The lunchtime in Spain was around 2:30 p.m. So imagine myself arriving to the office, start until 2:30 p.m. Then I moved to France, and France as well. I did a very short assignment in France only. Lunchtime was also very, but at 12, much earlier. Okay, so even in Europe, I arrived to the UK, right? It used to be after 10 years in the company, right? So moving around. And the lunchtime, it was just okay, perhaps I do lunch in the desk. What is that for? Oh, I'm going just to pick up the lunch. And the canteen, because big organization, canteens, right? So even the canteen where there was things to you to go. That exists in Portugal to go, the to go thing for you to have lunch.
That's fantastic.
Exactly. So actually, if you think about the cultural impact in terms, I'm just giving you an example, which is lunch break, right? So how you leave that. So go through those 3 countries, kind of similar, the times would be different, food, whatever, right? So in terms of how you actually plan to do it, arriving to the UK was my biggest what's going on, right? So, and that's different, but in the US was about the same, and the same thing. So I was already used to in the UK, but this is about like then the flexibility and the punches you just say. So I'm used to have my lunch break, I think, and I make value to have a break during my lunch. So I'm Portuguese. I come from a background that actually values the lunch. So I still make a value to have lunch, right? So in terms of here living, in the US and, even in the UK, I like to have my break and kind of is a way for me to recharge, and come back in the afternoon. What I'm saying in terms of the corporate, because it's the same organization, the changes, the cultural changes exist, right? So I think you're right. So you have, and being a same person, right? So in the different countries and the different places, you have to make a voice and just, think about like, what do you need to be at your best, right? And if lunchtime is the way for you to recharge and you have your space, even like doing whatever you just do, right? So in the UK, there was this habit, people live to do errands, right? So just doing stuff, right? So things like that. If it is your thing, you just need to claim it. It is where I was calling the manual of instructions for you, right? So, and if you communicate that it's important that at that time, you should have that time. So you are absolutely right. So the unwritten rules shouldn't be unwritten, should be communicated.
They should be communicated.
And you should be feeling safe to communicate that, right?
That's exactly it. Because when we understand that human beings do not eat at the same time every day, biologically, there's no requirement at all.
Yeah.
So if in Portugal and in France and in Spain and the UK and the US, we're all eating at 5 different times and in 5 different ways, there's nothing to say that we have to do anything the same, right? Yeah. So it's about what's best for me? How do I fuel myself, whether it's nutrition or exercise or a million other things, but how do I fill myself to keep going and to keep bringing my gift out? So through all of this, you are still a mom, you are moving around the globe, you're a wife and a wonderful friend and a beautiful person and all these great things. And you become a coach and you center your coaching on work-life balance. And isn't it so true that we go out, we create products to solve our own problems, right? Yes. Tell me about this. Tell me the genesis of your particular niche of coaching and how you've brought that to life.
Okay. All right. So there's two milestones about coaching in my life. One was the courage to say, I want to have more than being a corporate, as my job, right? So that was something there. And it was through
congratulations.
Thank you. And it was through my blog. It was the first step was building a blog. And it took me 2 years, I think, almost 2 years to click the publish button of WordPress to get my blog, my first blog ever published, right? So this is something
what was the delay? What was the evolution of the courage to push that publish button? Can you share that with us?
Yes. I think, I was comfortable and I was challenged and comfortable at the same time. So challenge means in my corporate life, go through with this ambition, just to be, like a executive in the ladder, I had all goals. So kind of the feeling was the same, right? But the thing is, there was more to talk about, to know, to learn, to have an impact. And that could be through like speaking up. That could be, I started also as well to follow these influencers, go to events. I took the certification from John Maxwell, and I started to just open a world that it was like close to me. All right. So if I knew something about leadership in the corporate world, then after come the personal development, it's possible, it's real, and it's here. Right. So, and there's so much in my experience that I want to talk about. Where is this space? And here came like the opportunity to have a blog. Right. So I did know in my circle, it was a blogger. And I didn't know how to do it. So Google helped, right? How to Google. And then, you started to follow other bloggers. You start to follow other bloggers similar to you, and just
Right.
to don't feel alone, right? So you started to just, like reach out to people that are in the same space as you. That is one, right? And then it's baby steps, right? It took me this long because I didn't have the urgency to have a blog, and it would be like, it was a desire, right? It was growing on me. And it was like, I want to do this. And more I was involved in meeting people that the possibility is there. I gave space to write, to, like just do the WordPress template, there's things to do, right? Things to learn, right? And then it's like, what am I waiting for? And this happened actually after I was pregnant. So I got pregnant here in the US. That's my toddler. He's 4 years old right now. And during the maternity leave, is like, what am I waiting for? And my baby there is like, this is the moment. This is me. Oh, let's go.
Boom, girl. I like it.
I read blog post. It was like about feedback on something. Just like, whatever it was very corporate, very, like leadership style. It doesn't matter. It was me doing publish and have a voice in a very uncomfortable way. And I think, like allowing to be uncomfortable, doing something that is growing on you, just is bigger than you. For me, with that thing, publish, WordPress, I still feel it, right? And that is a great achievement. Yeah. So publish on WordPress is my first thing. So
how did you feel after you pushed the button? Was it like a mix of, because I know that feeling, right? Like I'm familiar. Well, how did you feel? Happy, sad, scared, anxious, like, or just like, yeah, girl.
Yeah, girl, for sure. And I was super accomplished. But then I thought the world, like everybody was reading my blog post. Everybody, because that's my fear, right? If you just realize my fear was to put myself out there, right? What the judgment, what the people is going to say about me writing my first blog post, right? Think about that. But what happened? Nobody read the blog post.
The world did not end.
It was silent. My husband didn't read the blog post, and he was the one who was with me in this journey. I didn't have an Instagram or a social media, so how do I need to do something? It's not only just to publish. So then, so the fear was people reading. No, it is silent, 0 views. What's going on here, right? And then evolved the challenge to be seen, right? Now I have the courage to show up. I did publish, but now I want to be seen. I want to be heard. And how do I do this? And then started the journey of another, part of my life, right? So.
Yeah. And I think that's such a beautiful piece, because it's always so important that we use our real life examples in our coaching, right? Because we have to be attainable people. We have to be normal enough, because let's be real, we're all pretty messy and we all have a lot of growing. Yeah. But that's a great example to use with individuals, because it shows we make the story, we make the anticipated response so much worse, right? Yeah. Our ego absolutely loves fear, right? It's like, here comes the fear. We're going to keep that ego moving. Yes. And when we realize that nobody's reading it, boom, it's like, wait, that means I get to write anything I want to write, because who cares? And then guess what? People start reading it. Why? Because it's real. And it goes back to that same conversation in leadership. If you show up in a leadership role trying to lead like someone else, or in someone else's exact way, without being clear on the vision of where you're going, you're going to hit roadblocks all day, every day. Right? Yes,
absolutely.
So you start the blog, you start finding a different voice, right? I think you've probably always been a woman with a strong center and a strong voice in the ways of the world, but it sounds like a new version of you emerged.
Exactly.
Tell us about her these days.
Yeah, so this evolved, right? So since I just decided to publish my first blog post, and then I wanted more, right? So this means I evolved, I started to attend events, meet more people, right? So real people were doing what they're doing, and like just going through like, oh, there's more possibilities rather than only have a voice through the blog, right? So then came this opportunity to be a life coach, because I wanted to be really in the realm of personal coaching, right? And then I started to coach, and I built a program called One Dream, One Plan, because for me it was all about just live this life with this, like, not with these limiting beliefs, not with I should. For me, it was magical learning about like, wow, what do I want to do? I'm free and I don't know what to do with this freedom, right? So this is a magical part when you realize we are free to design our own lives. So was the part where I started to focus my business. And in that time, it was a year ago, as you said, like a mom, a side hustler, right? Now I had a business, right? And being in the corporate still, I was starting to feel like headaches and tension here. And I was doing my mindfulness, right? Like working out, because I learned as well, you need to take care of yourself. So I evolved as a person just to create my habits that serve me. But still, I was having, still like, I'm stressed. Perhaps what happened here? So I decided, because, big organizations do this mindfulness, and the mental health is a big topic there. So, and I'm very active as well. So I decided to go to the doctor and let her know, just like, look, this is happening. What else is out there for me to manage better my life and achieve my goals, right? So whatever.
Right.
Just to recognize. Okay, that was the moment. And this is what a year ago. And she knew that I had my side hustle. I was doing life coaching. And she was telling me, yes, the only way that you are not doing is actually to take Xanax. I'm going to prescribe you Xanax for you to have a better work-life balance. And it was like, huh? Okay. And she told me, you don't need to take right now, but you just wait, think, because those headaches, it's because you are too tense. It's too much in your life. I'm like, okay, all right. Is that the option you give it to me? And it was my physician. It was like a 10-minute conversation. And we ended like with a prescription, with a Xanax for me to take. What happened in this world? What is happening in this world? I'm coaching people.
I mean,
their dreams. What's happening? So I was like, that's me. This is my calling. And then I was like, I'm in the corporate. So this is for me to glue my mission. And I'm not taking Xanax because I'm not saying that we shouldn't take, it's not about that, but to have a better work-life balance, especially in my situation, taking Xanax to be more, I don't even know what to be more, right? To be numb. Like, look, no, I want to feel the feelings. I want to make decisions. I want to design my life, right? So it's like, what's going on here? So like, this is my calling. I will help this world. I will find a way and help this world to live a better life, work with life. And actually, there's one thing I can tell you. There is no work-life balance. There is balance in life, right? There is no work-life balance. There's balance in life for you to feel good and really make sure that the decisions you make, whatever that look like, it's important to you. And,
amen. I so appreciate that.
Yes.
So I was in my former career, I was the vice president of marketing for our family manufacturing business. So fourth generation, it's kind of a big deal. And, I was good. I did a lot of great work. I learned a lot, all kinds of great things were happening. But in the same place, like, I just wasn't happy, right?
Yeah.
And I had to kind of find what was making me unhappy. And it was that I was suffocating a little bit of my soul. Little by little, it just was suffocating because I wasn't balancing. I wasn't honoring not only my work and my life, but my health and my relationships and my family and all the things. So yeah, I joined a group called the WPO, the Women's Presidents Organization, and it was wonderful. It probably saved my life in a lot of ways. Like the women I met, the experiences I had, the things I learned, the questions I was able to ask in this space with women who understood my position, who understood my desires, because we were in similar situations.
Oh, yes.
And I remember one of the first meetings that I was in, I, walked up to the table thinking, I want to show these people that I'm thinking about big picture, little picture, but I really need to like deal with me. So I said, how do you,
Exactly.
how do you guys suggest I find work-life balance? What's your tips? And they literally all laughed at me. They were like, is that what you're going for? Are you? And they didn't, but they were all like,
Yeah.
there is no such thing. It's such a
Yeah.
misnomer to think that there's this scale that hangs evenly between our work and our life. Because behind those two things are different needs, different values, different conditions, different emotions and states of being that impact it. Some days my family has to and will be unquestionably more important than work. But on other days, work is going to be the bigger
Exactly.
thing, right? Now, if my family is critical situation, that changes the conditions. But kind of like the assumed way we handle messages during work hours, we cannot assume that the world is going to pat us on the back or give us a gold star or push us up the ladder if we make work the priority, if we're only doing work the priority. It has to be the
Yes.
balance, and it's going to constantly move and change. And
Yeah.
if we aren't taking care of our health, if we aren't sleeping, eating, hydrating, taking care of ourselves, if we aren't talking and vocalizing our wants and needs, and I say this out of absolute personal experience. I could tell you all about not being balanced in that way, but I can also tell you about how to move beyond it, because it
Yes.
was just a perspective, and understanding that there was no stasis of balance was
Yeah.
so important for me, because then I had to ask the questions of, well, what the heck do I do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I found that group, like I said, it really changed a lot of my life. I'm still very close, and continue to grow with a lot of those women. So I mentioned earlier that you were associated with Big.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved with Big, and can you tell us a little bit about it?
All right. So yes. So last year, it was a coincidence actually. So last year, one of my goals was expanding my networking and finding people that I could, it's always about like when I published, right, it was Google, and then I started to connect with like people that actually build blogs, right? And then people who actually made business with blogs, and you have,
Mm-hmm.
right? Big was something that, okay, and now how to be sustainable business owner? How do I do this, right? So, and Big came, I first joined Coco, so it's in Summit, right? So when in Summit, there was some ladies that belonged to Big, and they introduced me that organization. I attended once, I fell in love. I was like, I love these people here. This is my people now. And I joined as well. It was May last year. And of course, right? So the opportunities they have to speak there, to interact with people, the workshops, and the event we met, right? So in December as well, something that, like was not in the plan, but I knew that the environment couldn't provide and will be a resource for something, right? So I didn't know what would come, but kind of like, this is the place to be, just to explore, again, possibilities, right? So for where I want to go.
Yeah. So Big is Believe, Inspire, Grow, and it's all about promoting women entrepreneurs, right? Whether, you're starting out or trying to ramp up. How important has it been for you? I imagine moving around the globe and trying to grow in different ways. How important is the role of mentorship?
Oh, it's yeah. So in all aspects, right? So I would say, like in all aspects. So to be a sounding board for me. So, because culturally we are different, right? And if I'm trying to target that here, so, like, what does it look like? So this is a part as well that, I love it to have my mentors, because I have already mentors that Big. And so the other part is also just they propose me things. They're always like, have you seen this? Look at this, this is another one. The second, there is this match, meet and match, right? So you match people, and then you just like, oh, we just match, it's just amazing way just to meet more people, right? And then we have this introduction, and how can I help you? There is always the willingness to help. And then, like I've been using, literally, like I've been using, can I, like in terms of my business, this is what I'm thinking with your experience, what do you think? It's just like, give me your thoughts, right? And I've been using a lot the resources from Big as well, just to make this question. And, like, that's the connection. It's being extraordinary, like the connections I'm making and the feedback I'm receiving as well to improve and, just grow, right? As a person, my business.
Yeah.
And, we don't know what we don't know. So we really need to put ourselves out there and, that's kind of my foundation. Yeah.
Well, that's great. And it seems like from starting the blog and not having social media at the time, seems like you've really taken advantage of social media.
Yes.
And I want to thank you. When I met you, you gave me a little sticker. Do you remember? It said, "I am capable." And we had talked about social media and how I'm just a little like, oh, I just got to get into it.
Yeah.
And I came home and posted, I don't know, something of this. And I said, I am capable of doing more on social media. And I have been. So she's good, friends. She's a great coach. She got me going in a wonderful way. But tell us the role, like, how do you use social media and what are you putting out there? What can people look for when they head over to your site?
Okay, so that's one thing. Social media is serving me for different ways, right? So first it's serving me to know more about what is out there, right? So, and I've been meeting great people through social media, right? I've really, literally, it's being a great resource to meet and actually to build relationships. This is true. So the second part is, I see a lot of value here, right? So, I see a lot of value here. So then comes the other part, which is about growing the business, right? So, and I've been doing these courses about using social media and how to grow and, the strategies that you can have, it being working, but, like it's the 1% type of thing that you can have clients. But for me, is a great exercise to put myself out there, right? Yeah. And is a great test for me just to have a voice, just to have, remember like the blog? And now it's social media more, right? So it's like, it's the same. It's the same. So what else can I share that I am feeling who I am? Like just thoughts, like my program, right? So my program, everything that I feel is important to share. And, it's been amazing, this journey. Like there is someone out there that reads and, resonates with your message. And that's the connection. And for me, it's a way to connect with people, right? So that's why I give some effort to social media, because for the connection, again, like the same thing I was saying about Big, I'm finding as well through social media.
And you do a fantastic job. And I can see that it's authentic, but I appreciate that you can be clear that it's practice and putting yourself out there. Because it's so easy for us to just look at someone, whether it's a leader or someone on social media or a parent, and think they've got it all together and that they don't have the butterflies or the questions. It's what we do with the self-doubt, right? It's do we push send and then like shrivel in the corner and be like, oh my gosh, I said that. Or do we just like push it and say, that's me, take it or leave it. And it's important that we are clear on what it means when we say that's me, right? Because if we look at all the different versions of me I've been, all the different influences, they're all wonderful and okay. But sometimes I can look back and see that I was trying to be something else, right? I was trying to be this kind of best mom when I'm really this kind of best mom, something unique to myself. Now, that's kind of evolved, right? It's not something that we get, unfortunately, before we go through all these formative years. If you could go back and give yourself some advice, this question is asked all the time, right? But what would it be? Like, and maybe you're 17, maybe you're 25, maybe you're 10. But I think about this a lot, not only in how we lead our people at work, how we lead our people in the home, but what is it that we need to hear, right? Because we need to hear those same things too, as a reminder to not flip back and go the other way. So what would you think? What advice do you have for a younger version of you?
I think it comes back to my college time. And there was a decision that my closest friends went to a program to study abroad a semester. study abroad. It was called Erasmus. I don't know if in US you have this. So in Europe, so you go to Europe, and I think it's a European program. So, and you go abroad and study a semester.
Cool.
I was accepted in Belgium, and it was so I got like a scholarship, and then I declined. And why? Because at the same time I got a job as a teacher. Imagine it as a teacher, and I thought, no, I need to do this job because I'm going to get money out of it, and I'm going to buy a car. So, because that was my goal, having a car at that time. So my advice for myself is go abroad, put yourself out there, discover the world. I didn't speak English. I didn't speak other language than Portuguese, not even Spanish, which is a similar,
Oh, wow.
I didn't speak any other language. And it was what, 20, 19, 20? I don't know, 21, no, right? 20, something around there, 20, let's see. And I didn't go because I got the job that after that job, that semester, I would have money to buy a car. So, girl, go to Belgium, do the semester outside, put yourself out there, and just conquer the world.
That's so fun. I love that you can go back to that place. And it would have changed the trajectory of how your life came out to be, but it may have brought you closer to a different part. But it sounds like you're getting that part now and harnessing that and sharing it with other people and with your children and with your family and friends. So, looking forward, what do you see as maybe the next thing? Right? Like if then it was making the right decision to travel and to not be focused on the car, what do you think the next big decision you have to make is? Or
right now?
I don't know. Or is there another turn ahead? Because I love to look ahead. I like to understand and visualize. And you don't have to answer by any means. I just know.
I have the vision. When I'm going to be a life coach, personal coach, a work-life balance coach, full time, because I'm not a full-time coach yet. So that is for me the next big decision. Yes.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Clarity. Yeah.
And if you were going to tell her to go see the world, right? What would you tell yourself right now, giving yourself that advice to move forward, thinking about what you've learned from your experiences and from Big and from other mentors? What advice would you give yourself today to get closer to that goal?
So it's about there is several plans that you can take. There are different roads.
Sure.
Take the road that is your road, your path, and take the time you need. But go, keep doing, and stop making excuses about everything. Right? I'm sure there's road blockers. There's big roads that looks like nice and easy. There's other ones, like turn around but take the road you need and never give up.
And I love that, because what I hear you implying too is, yes, keep moving forward, but there's no timeline. If there are 17 roads to get there, friends, we're going to arrive at different times, right? And even if you and I set out today to accomplish the same goal, we would get there differently. And we have to learn that there's no one way. And like, I'm thinking about my kids in school. I'm thinking about people at work. Yes, we teach standard operating procedures. Yes, we have to follow them, but there's more than one way to learn it. There's more than one way to get there. There's more than one way to find happiness and joy and that balance. So what are you offering today? I saw on social media that you have a work-life balance plan or program coming out.
Yes.
Tell us all about that, because we know there's no such thing as work-life balance, but yet we're trying. So tell us.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, I have a program, a one-on-one coaching program, and I call Work-Life Harmony in 90 days.
Harmony. There you go.
Yes, because I believe there is more harmony in your life rather than balance, and just for the reasons I explained before, right? So there's no real balance. You feel balance. So if you feel balance, you will feel. And I love the concept.
I like that. I like that better.
Harmony. Yes,
I like that better because in my work, like part of how I define joy is what we get when we stand between the happiness and the suffering. When
Yeah.
we look at life and say, there is happiness, there is suffering, it's going, but I'm going to stay in this space and be okay. Right. So work is crazy, life is crazy, but this is harmony, the space in between.
Oh
Right.
my God.
So I
Yes.
appreciate your use of that word.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
So I love that definition. So, and I build like 5 pillars within that container. So it has 5 pillars. We walk through that, but it's customized because it's a 101 right now. And there's 3 different plans. So I think if you can go to, like my contacts, my Instagram, my bio there, you can find more details and, you always can know more about like what is this
That's
program.
wonderful.
Yeah.
While we're talking about it, how do we find you on Instagram and other online resources?
Okay, so my main platform is Instagram. So is where I'm there perhaps every day. So and my handle is AnnaJo Talks. Anna double N Joe J-O Talks. So this is the name as well of my blog, AnnaJoTalks.com. And pretty much there, and there is also as well a Facebook, AnnaJo Talks. So you can find me and there will be a link where you can DM me as well, or just book with me and we can talk about, all the things like your podcast. So,
and all the things, AnnaJo and all the things.
Yes, absolutely.
So since we're here to talk about all the things, we talked a lot about family, you and I. Would you say that it was your desire to be with them and live fully that helped couple with the corporate experience to bring the need for work-life harmony together? Because that's a lot of traveling and moving and shifting and different timings. And so I'm sure learning how to manage yourself with your family as it's growing and evolving throughout a global experience taught you a lot of lessons. What's a life hack that you have learned over the years that you could share with us about whether it's time management or an app that you use or, I don't know, something to help stay harmonious, if you will, and as you juggle all the life things? I love life hacks.
Okay, so I can say 2 things. One is a kind of more holistic like way of thinking, which is about especially I've been learning each time I was moving, especially moving with my son, right? I never moved with my daughter, right? So with my son, I was always like, what's school look like? He's going to have friends. I was putting always like, oh my God, my son, was always how he's going to feel to be the new guy, So always like have these concerns. And I would anticipate always when the job offer come, where the decision come, I was always anticipating what's going to happen, what can go wrong, things that I need to be prepared for, right? So, and the learning for me moving so much, and moving really countries with different language, where we, different cultures.
Those are big moves.
Yeah. So you know what? Just don't anticipate. It's not worth it. Just leave the moment. Because even if you anticipate, you will always find things that you don't know. Always. You always encounter surprises because you are not there. So you need to leave the moment. Actually, I've been learning through my different moves, and my easiest, which was the biggest, was from UK to the US. It was the one I kind of felt more relaxed, my attachment to physical things, to my, like I just gave away. We came with 6 big luggage, suitcase, you know what I mean? That's it. So it looks like a pure immigrants coming to the US. We could have brought like everything, right? So that's it, because it was the corporate. But starting new beginnings. But the thing was that the learning I got, until I arrived here in this move, right? And perhaps the next move I will do is just don't anticipate. You don't need to anticipate and just to be prepared, because it's just like live the moment and be present. And this is something I am very true for.
Yep. It's a literal brain sucker. Like our prefrontal cortex and now I'm no doctor, so bear with me here, but my understanding as I dig into this dorky stuff, because I love it, Our prefrontal cortex manages essentially our willpower, all of our decision making processes through executive functioning, right? So this part of our brain, if we're spending all of our time, how will it go? What will it be? What will it look like? What could go? If we're always anticipating that. And again, I'm speaking from a knowing place because been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the Xanax, got, don't have it anymore, but it's right. Like we worry ourselves, and just like pushing the publish button, it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be.
Exactly.
Right. Our kids, our teams, our families are far more capable than our fearful brains give them credit for. So if every time we have to do something big, and I'm still working through this, if we're always running through that list of da 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 da, number one, you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to be in the moment. You're going to be too tired to handle those things that come up because life happens and we can't anticipate it all. So that is really, really good advice, because we can literally worry ourselves to death. And over what? Right?
Exactly.
You're going to move, and it's going to happen, and it's going to be awesome, and parts are going to suck.
Yes.
Guess what?
Yeah.
We're going to move on. Now,
let me give you another one, the second one of the family.
Okay, good.
Over time. And I want to share this.
Yeah.
The small one is, and I have the proof this weekend. Like, this is what to do. Dance with your family. Dance.
What is it?
Dance.
Oh.
Dance with your family. Just dance. Really dance. Yeah. Just have a playlist for different season. Your favorite playlist. Share with your children and have that as something present in your lives, and dance with them. That
is great advice.
That's it.
Right? Think of what you're doing. You're moving your body, you're laughing, you're breathing differently, you're raising your energy level, and it's fun.
It is fun.
You can do it in like 2 minutes. Right?
Yes.
And I think we spend too much time being afraid of what we might look like, or not having the energy. But I think that is great advice. When things get tough, have a little dance party, right?
Let's dance. Could be 5 minutes. Could be in the car. Just like have a playlist. Just like the thing is to have playlists for them. And it doesn't mean like, I need to be songs like for kids because my daughter is there, right? So, Baby Shark is over, right? So now we go over. And now her favorite singer is Alicia Keys. Can you believe
she's got good taste?
And like on fire. Can you believe it? Of course, my 16 years old is just like he doesn't want to dance. But he does because he was used to, right? So kind of like, all right, I just go because it's too much fun. So dancing with your family is something that actually just, increases the vibration, the vibe, the energy.
And even if you're not with your family, if you're in your car, like you said, if you need a moment of all to yourself, put that good music on. I love that. You might have to share some of your playlists, right?
Okay, yeah.
But it's so much goes back to, we can't control the conditions, but we can have a playlist ready, right?
Exactly.
Like, what do you know? If you know you need that 1 hour lunch break, how do you communicate it? How do you get it? If you know you need that dance break, make sure it's good music, right? Because there's nothing worse than putting on bad dance music and totally losing your mojo, right? So, but we accept our conditions and don't remember that we can influence them, right? So, okay. So as we close out today, Tim Ferriss is like my favorite podcaster. I call him, I like to think we're on oh my gosh. So Tim and I like to think we're on a first name basis. He has no idea I exist, but that's okay. But his question, he always closes, and I think it's such a good, there's two of them that I love. Yes, but I'm going for the billboard question. If you could have a billboard anywhere sending a message to the world, what might it say?
Okay.
Not necessarily promotional, although it could be. We'll just assume there's like blinking AnnaJoTalks.com. What would you say to the world?
I'll prepare, right? So, okay, let's see. I have different ones because I've been doing this exercise. But right now, I would say, you can be you. You can be you. Boom. Yeah, I think a good one. Oh, yes. With wise.
I love it.
You can be you. Oh my God. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Because we don't actually know that. We
Yes.
think we're supposed to be something else, and we don't know that we're already enough. So I love that. And I can see it blinking and glowing and having all the signs. His other favorite question, my other favorite question of his is, what is your most gifted book? Or is there a book that's truly inspired you?
Yes. Dare to Lead by Brené Brown.
Brené Brown, anything gets a gold star in my book. I think The Woman Walks on Water. So we're going to have a lot more to talk about with this.
Yes.
But yes, Dare to Lead. Absolutely.
Yes.
If
actually, just to do, when the people sign up in my program, I give this book. If it's, indeed, I can find by Amazon, I will send it because it's there to lead, there to be you, there just to not, just leading without the armor, right? So it's amazing. Yeah.
She's so good. And if people don't know who Brené Brown is, all due respect, crawl out from under the rock. It's okay. She's amazing and she's worth coming out to check out. She talks so much about vulnerability and being seen and how to generate courage and to do so with kindness, respect, and to also not give a crap, right? She's like, you have to be you, unapologetically you, but how do you get there? And she tells you a lot of good ways to do that. So really, kudos to you on Tim Ferriss and Brené Brown. I think that we're onto something. But I'm not surprised, right? Because we crave knowledge and growth and experience and change, and to do so, to use that for service. That's something I think you and I live in the same way with. And of course, it's going to be the Tim Ferrisses and the Brené Browns, because they're having the conversations that need to be had today, because there is no one way to do anything. And if we really want to lead other people, I need to really understand other people. And podcasts and books and all these things are ways I get to do that. But I always cherish most when I get to meet people doing this in real life and get to build a connection and a bond with them. So I feel incredibly blessed to have met and spent time with you in this way so far. And I'm so grateful that you were able to join me today. And thank you. Thank you to your willingness to show up, your willingness to serve, your willingness to be you. We don't have enough of that. And, someone was like, oh, that's interesting. They put two coaches next to each other. And I said, absolutely. Let's just keep saying the same things over and over. Let's put 17 life coaches at the event and line us up. And I just want to hear these things over and over and over again to anyone that will listen, because the more we fulfill ourselves and start leading and living and loving in our authenticity, guess what, friends? The black cloud that's hanging out gets to go somewhere else, because all of that light, all of that energy we create is real. And that is why I do this. I want to have these conversations so people can hear you and see you and understand that they too can build the courage to find their unique voice. They too can push publish, and the world will not stop, right? And then when they bring their true gift to life, they will, for the better, change the lives of others. And for that, I feel humbly grateful. And I am excited for wherever your relationship with me and this direction we're taking can go. And maybe we'll have to do another one of these in a little while.
Oh my God, I loved it. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. Thank you. You are wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's spread
You are so welcome. Let's do it. Let's spread the joy. Spread the harmony, because you're worth it. I'm worth it. And so are all of our listeners.
Yes.
On that note, friends, stick around if you can and like the podcast and follow AnnaJo Talks on Instagram and get to know us both a little bit better, because you're worth it. Dag nabbit. And wherever you are and whatever you're doing, make it a great day. Talk soon. And that's a wrap on another episode of And All the Things. If you enjoyed today's show, please like and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you really liked it, please go ahead and rate it. Then think about who in your life might also need to hear it and any of the other episodes we have shared. Then share it with them. When you find something meaningful, something valuable, you've got to share it and pay it forward to those you care for. Thanks for joining us, and follow along on Instagram at AnnaJo Coach. And as always, make it a great day.